Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Nemeka Onyeka Oderere. I want to humbly submit that collectively, each and every one of us are part of the government. We are the government. Actively or inactively, we are the government. And I will explain to you why we are the government. Today, Nigeria is being ruled by somebody who sits in Aso Rock, Mr. President, and 36 governors, and the guy who sits at the FCT, 774 local government chairmen, 469 members of the National Assembly, upper and lower chamber, and then men that sits across the 36 state assemblies, and then the judiciary across the 3 tiers of government. So now your question is, where it's easy for us to just say, oh, government, the government, who are the government? There's no way any politician can rig an election without us getting involved in it. There are 176,000 electoral votes, electoral polling votes, 8,809 ward collection centers, 774 local government collection centers, 36 state collection centers, and then the final collection center by the INEC chairman in Abuja. If the guys at the polling booths do not compromise their position, if the guys at the ward collection centers do not doctor results, if the guys at the local government area do not change result, if the guys at the state level do not change result, there's no politician, no matter how strong or how weak, can waggle himself into the place of power and authority. The same thing for the judiciary. If those in the judicial arm of government are not compromised, a majority of us decide to do what is right, this country will be fixed. And I know we are going to say, oh, who are those that made the law? Those that made the law, will put them there. We all know ourselves. I always say this thing to anybody who cares to listen. Every community, every society, every family knows the good, the bad, and the ugly. The society grows from the immediate family. The father, the mother, and the sons and daughters, the children. From that immediate family, you go into the nuclear family, you go into the kindred, you go into the village, go into the community, go into the local government, and then just like that. Now, we need to tell ourselves the truth. I've always said this. We are collectively part of the problem. Because we are not speaking out enough, or we're not doing enough within our own corridor to do what is right, our sphere of influence. I say this thing. It's easy to say, oh, Mr. President did not do this. Mr. President sits and supervises 1,300 MDAs. He's working with all manner of human beings, those who are pursuing their selfish interests. Of course, you say he selected them, he appointed them. At the state level, the same thing. And I say this thing because I'm an entrepreneur, I'm an employer of labor. Even within my own little community of influence, I tell you the kind of things So something happened 2 weeks ago. I know, by the special grace of God, I run an outfit that into integrated agro production. We set up cottage factories across the southeast. In fact, in one of the cottage factories, we are one of the criminals, misappropriated our funds. Rather than shut down the place, I decided to secure someone who understands the business, handed over the equipment and facilities and machineries to him to use it to begin to process. Just let him just keep the place running, raise his working capital, make money and create jobs. Rather than allow it, I am in Lagos and I've discovered that it's difficult to get the right human capital. Let us face facts. There are dearth of honest, skillful, knowledgeable human capital in Nigeria. If we are to fix this country, the first thing we must pursue is human capital development. There are 4 factors of production. Human capital, which is the most important. Land, which is made up of things on the surface of the land, agriculture, and things beneath the surface of the earth, which is the minerals. A machinery and equipment, which can be used to process either things above the earth or things beneath the earth. And funding, which is very, very critical. But the most critical is human capital. And in as much as we will try to paint it anyhow, Nigeria, the leadership of Nigeria or whoever is in power represents the character of a majority of us. I say it again. If not that Professor Nenoti chose to be different from other vice chancellors and decided that she will not compromise, she will not allow herself to be intimidated or bullied, Abia State wouldn't have gotten Dr. Alex Oti as governor. It will have gone the same way elections have always gone in the state over the last 24 years. Rigging, mago, and all the rest of it. But that woman stood to respect God, to honor mankind, and the votes of Abia. If all the 176 polling booth officers, the 8,809 ward collection agents, officers, the local, decide to do like a note, Nigeria will be a good place, irrespective of whoever is in power or whoever is in authority. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, servants and workers and the chiefs employed by Nebuchadnezzar, when the chiefs were down, told him they would not do what he wanted them to do. They resisted even to the point that he threw them into the furnace. And of course, God saved them. We must get to the point where God can look into this land and see people that are willing to stand in the gap to say we don't want to be part of this one. Until we get to that level where a critical majority of us decides within ourselves, without any cajoling, without anybody influencing us, to stand and do what is right, we cannot move forward. So why am I saying this thing? You know, we talk about insecurity. It's always tempting for us to go, oh, Mr. President, he commands the army, he commands the local government police. Do you know that if the 36 governors today decides that they want to amend the Constitution of Nigeria, that they want the Constitution amended, and they work with their members in National Assembly, they will get it done within 6 months. We know that the security of Nigeria, the way it is structured, is not working. We know that the only way it will work is if we revert back to what we used to have in the early 60s, when the regions were in control of their security. We also know that today, if the state governors can muster the courage, just like the governor of Zamfara State has been speaking, the guy said, if the political will is there, we can destroy insecurity in Zamfara in 2 weeks. And the same thing applicable across the states. The insecurity in the states, especially Anambra and Imo, festers because the governors have not yet stood up to tackle it. And I will say this, the governors do not control the army. They do not control the army. They do not, but they can actually mobilize their people. They can actually even put pressure on the federal government by speaking out and not playing politics. And how do we do this? We know that the physical side controls a lot of things. We know that we do not have the knowledge and skills in Nigeria to begin to do the robotics and go to the moon like the US and China. But there is this lowest hanging fruit we can tackle, the agro value chain. God has blessed us with 64 million hectares of arable land mass, 128 million people who are healthy with their limbs, who can actually be engaged in productive work. We can easily raise any amount of money we want to raise. All we just need is security. Government in Abuja putting in policies. Anybody who wants to bring in equipment, machineries, processing plant, tractors, bulldozers, smart farm materials and houses, zero tariff. All that President Tinubu need to do is to pass an executive order or get the National Assembly to amend whatever relevant laws. You don't need to go to the Federal Ministry of Finance or Agri to get any import duty exemption certificate. Once you are bringing in all these things and the invoice says it and the customs open the container, it is what is in it. Bring it in. You know, they will tell you, oh, people will now, people will import it to trade. Let me tell you one thing, you don't understand, a lot of demand and supply. If 1 million people decide to import tractors to sell, and there are too many tractors in Nigeria without buyers, the prices will crash. And of course, we become a hub for the rest of West Africa. You know, we don't seem to understand that the policies can actually change a lot. In the terms of security, if the governors can muster courage, if today, in every electoral ward in Nigeria, we have 100 agro rangers, and these wards, the local government chairman and the governors working with the town union leaders and the clergies and the traditional rulers, create 200, 300, 500 hectares of agro-industrial parks. What is simply that people come together within that park. The park is a place where you have shared facility. There is industrial borehole, there is solar power, there is storage, there are processing plants there. There is skills acquisition. Trained agronomists will train the local farmers on what to do. So shared facilities. If the community wants to do palm, they can do palm. If they want to do cocoa, they can do cocoa. If they want to do cassava. But there's an industrial cluster where all the value chain is tackled. You plant. See, let me tell you, if we decide to even do 2,500 and we borrow $6 million to create each cluster, have 200 agro rangers per cluster. Those agro rangers will be trained under a special security arrangement where they are not under the governors who may abuse them. It's under a tripartite command arrangement. The governor, the National Security Advisor, and the coordinator that will be appointed for the state. And of course, at the zonal level, at local government level, the clergies will be involved. The town union people, just like what Peter did in Anambra State when he became governor. It is the people that will select those who will represent them, because we know that every community knows the good, the bad, ugly, the money, the criminals. They will not select the criminals to protect them. Do you know that if in every electoral ward we have 100 agro rangers fully trained with AK-47 in every local government area, we have 3 to 4 armored personnel carriers, we have drones, we have Kenkoso dogs, they have motorcycles, they are well paid, 150K every month. It will take us $3.75 billion to sell. We've run the numbers to do the whole equipment. Innocent and not will provide the hardwares. It will take us $1.67 billion as recurrent expenditure to pay their wages. Each agro park that we develop with $6 million will give us about $42 million annually. We will create 20 million jobs. We will have $100 to $200 billion revenue coming to this economy. We will have storage facilities. We will have processing plants. We will have over 25,000 air-conditioned haulage trucks that will enable us save the over 3.5 trillion naira we lose every year to post-harvest losses. We will produce everything we consume here and export the rest. We will create an interlinkage between the security arrangement and the agro development in such a way that every community will be well protected. You don't need the police checkpoint. You don't need army checkpoint. If in my community, Amagi, we select ourselves, because we know the criminals in my community. We know those who are creating the havoc. And they are creating the havoc because they have AK-47 and they can take Igbo. If we have 100 sane young men selected by us with AK-47 and 4 armored personnel carrier in Okigwe, they've not born the criminal, the bandits that will do it at home or will be doing no matter of nonsense they are doing today. They are doing it because they have AK-47. And unlawful terror scares people. The people don't even trust the police or the army because there is even this allegation that the police and army are working with them. But when the people select their own children to protect them, they have that filial connection to protect their mothers, their daughters, and their people. And they are under the control of the people, not under the control of the political criminals in either Abuja. So we know what to do, but we don't want to do it. It is earlier, the high time we begin to hold accountable within our immediate sphere, our local government chairman, our governors, those who are in state assembly and national assembly. We begin to call them out. But the problem, most of us are cowards. We cannot call out. Most of us, we want to be in the good books of the political because either we are being led by our stomach needs or our greed or our wickedness or our cowardice. Because when we call them out, no, they will not give us contracts. They will not remember us. The truth is that cowards die many times before their actual death. And I've never seen any glutton or wicked or greedy man that ever amount to anything in life. So we know what to do. And the earlier we do it, the better for each and every one of us. Thank you.